Hi, my name's Father Dan Andrews. When I was learning how to pray, I got some great advice from one of the saints of the church, St. Ignatius of Loyola. Ignatius said before we ever set out to pray that we need to consider who's first and who's acted first, and that we should, for a space of about 20 or 30 seconds, consider how God the Father beholds us in great love. You see, prayer is not just a task or something to check off our list. It is an experience of deepening relationship. So I encourage everybody, if you're experiencing dryness in your prayer, if you're frustrated, then you're part of a great number of people who experience the same thing. Don't give up. God's the one who started this, and He will see it to a good completion.
Here's a solution to the priest shortage. Women priests. You think? Pope Francis has a lot of power. For example, he can decide tomorrow that priests can marry. That's because the prohibition on married priests is a positive law or a man-made law. On the other hand, no pope can change the prohibition on women priests. That's a divine law or a law written by God on the hearts of man. It's unchanged law. The solution to the priest shortage is simple: Christ-centered families.
A lot of you may this weekend be sitting around a picnic table like this for the 4th of July weekend, and I hope you do, and I hope you celebrate our great holiday. And when we give reverence and honor to our country, unfortunately, a lot of our priests won't have time to celebrate the 4th of July. They are packing up their cars with suitcases and duffel bags, and they're moving on to their next parish. And it might ask the question, does a priest get to pick his own assignment and where he gets to work? And the answer is no. Archbishop knows those priests who are ready, pastors are ready to move after 6 years, and we have associates who move after 3 years. And so the Archbishop will ask our priest, do you want to move? Or he may ask, I need you to move. And if a priest gets moved, there's a whole process for that. Archbishop has a whole team of advisors. He has a priest personnel board. He looks at a priest's skills. He looks at the need of the parish, and the Archbishop and the personnel board make a decision on where to place a priest, where to assign a priest. It turns out to be the best interest of the people. So pray for your priests who are moving this year. Pray for those congregations in which he's leaving, because there is a time of mourning, and now there's a time of joy where a priest moves on.
Hi, this is Deacon Omar Gutierrez for the Archdiocese of Omaha and the Evangelium Institute. Social justice is a term we hear a lot today, and oftentimes it's used in very different ways. The fact of the matter is that actually it's a term that we invented as Catholics. It goes all the way back to the late 1800s when it was first used by a priest in Italy. It becomes part of the Church's official teaching in 1931 with the document of Pope Pius XI. And so what is it from the Catholic perspective? Pope Pius XI and other theologians have argued that it actually stems from St. Thomas Aquinas, that it's another form of general or legal justice. And the idea simply is that the individual has obligations to society, and the degree to which the individual does those, that's social justice. However, it's been used in lots of different ways in our society, and what it certainly doesn't mean is that everybody needs to have exactly the same amount of goods, or that everything is distributed equally because we're all equal. That's not social justice, even though sometimes that's how it's used. We want to make sure that when we talk about social justice, we're providing, generally speaking, something that everyone can have access to for the sake of their own social, economic, material, psychological, and spiritual well-being, so that they can have life and life abundant. True social justice, properly understood, is being pro-life.
My name is TJ Ernst, and I am the Executive Director of Bethlehem House, located here in Southeast Omaha. We are a maternity home dedicated to serving pregnant women in crisis. Now we know there is an important decision that is going to occur here very shortly, and we just want to let everybody know that regardless of that decision, we are here. We are here to support our women, to provide them with all the love, support, resources, and guidance necessary for them to be the absolute best providers and parents for those children. And we want to do that for life. We are pro-life.
When you haven't been to church in a while and the priest sees you sitting in the back.
Nothing beats a summer stroll. Sunshine, blue sky, and comforting breeze. What am I taking with me? Well, I'm not leaving Jesus on the other side of the door. He's coming with me. and I'm bringing ideas for a summer vacation. Summer is a time of leisure, recreation, traveling, planning, and deciding. Whatever you do this summer, swimming, fishing, hiking, or exploring, don't take a vacation from Jesus. Include him in your plans and activities.
What is seminary
Okay.
life?
I'm Father Rosa, the vocations director for the Archdiocese. Thanks for joining us today. It's been beautiful making my way through working with young men and helping them to discern what it is that the Lord wants for them. And it's beautiful to watch them enter into seminary and to receive from the Lord in all these amazing ways and to grow. One of the misconceptions that we see a lot in seminary formation as we help young men and their families is the sense that if a man enters the seminary, he's signing his whole life away. Like that will be forever his destiny. He has to become a priest. And it's really good for people to know that that's just not the case at all. Seminary really is a place where a man comes to a deeper kind of depth of spirituality and love for the Lord. He comes to a deeper understanding of himself. And he comes to know more clearly whether or not he's called to the priesthood. In the same way that a young man who is interested in a young woman does not approach her and say, oh, by the way, I'm pretty sure we're called to be married, and would you like to get coffee? Because that would be a really strange and problematic thing on a variety of levels. We don't expect the young man who's considering the priesthood or who's drawn to the priesthood to have certain knowledge of that, and nor do we expect to have certain knowledge of that on his behalf. Instead, we invite him to go to a place where he can more purposefully come to understand that, himself, the Lord, and all those things. And over the course of some years, perhaps maybe 1 year, maybe a number of years, he comes to a deeper commitment and understanding as to whether or not he's called to be a priest. We just want for our men to know what the Lord's will is for their life. That's the ultimate goal and desire of seminary, so that they can be free to pursue whatever it is that the Lord ultimately has in store for them. And it's been an awesome privilege, and is an awesome privilege, when we walk with men as they begin to ask those questions. What is it that the Lord wants? And to follow wherever that adventure leads.
Deacon Vestments with Deacon Zav.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Deacon Zav, and today we're going to talk about the vestments a deacon wears. So to start with, we've got what's called an amice. And by the way, every article or every vestment has a different prayer that goes along with it. And some of them I've memorized, others I'm still working on getting. So this amice is placed over the head, and the prayer goes like this: Lord, set on my head the helmet of salvation and defend me from the assaults of the devil. Interesting tidbit of information here. Soldiers used to wear amices to protect themselves in the field of battle. And I hear firemen even wear amices today. The other thing it does is it helps kind of cover up your street clothes. As you can see, I'm wearing this awesome salmon-colored shirt. Because ideally, you don't want to see your street clothes underneath your vestments. So that's the amice. Next we have the alb. This, of course, is the main underlayment of the vestments. And the prayer is, Lord, cleanse me and purify my heart, that washed in the blood of the Lamb, I may yet enjoy eternal bliss. All right, next we have the cincture. And of course, this holds everything in place here. It goes around the waist. And the prayer is, Lord, gird me with the cincture of purity and extinguish my fleshly desires, that the virtue of chastity may abide within me. Next we have the stole. And the deacon's stole is worn over the left chest, almost like a sash. Lord, restore the stole of immortality that I lost through the collusion of my first parents. And as unworthy as I am to approach thy sacred mysteries, may I yet gain eternal joy. Next we have what's called a dalmatic. And the dalmatic is worn over the rest of the vestments as the final piece. And the difference between a dalmatic and a chasuble is the dalmatic has sleeves. Lord, endow me with the garment of salvation and the vestment of joy. May the dalmatic of justice ever encompass me.
Adoration is about us adoring the Lord. That's true, but it doesn't have to always be that way. What if you went before the tabernacle and said, Lord, let's do something different. Today you get to adore me. God is love. Let God God. Allowing the Lord and hour to adore you is not blasphemy.
This is perfect. 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 Perfect.
A few signs you may be Catholic. You're related to someone named John Paul. You trust St. Anthony over Find My iPhone. You stock up a lot on holy water. Oh, come to the altar just brings you to tears.
Hey everyone, Father Patrick Stack here, Associate Pastor of St. Patrick's in Elkhorn, taking a quick moment to reach out and ask for your help. These last couple days we've seen some interesting news break. We might be on the verge of overturning Roe v. Wade, and that would be marvelous. But we know the final decision hasn't yet come through, and so we need to, as St. Paul says, persevere in running this race of prayer all the way to the end. So let's pray for the grace of the Holy Spirit to come upon the Supreme Court justices, offering them wisdom and protection in these final days, that you and I might be so blessed as to see finally the triumph of the Immaculate Heart of Mary in this fight for life.